A woman braces for impact inside her car. The vehicle flips and crashes in a fiery wreck. A man desperately pulls her from the burning car. She lies injured on the pavement. Her face contorts in agony. Later, the woman is in a hospital gown, smiling as she cradles a baby. Her boyfriend and her best friend stand together. Their expressions unreadable. The woman holds the baby close, her joy mixed with a hint of sorrow. She walks through a hallway and stops, and peering through a staircase railing, she sees them. Her boyfriend and her friend are wrapped in a tight embrace. He holds her face tenderly, and they kiss. The woman freezes, her eyes widening in utter shock and betrayal. She clutches the baby tighter, her face a mask of pain. She turns away. 7 years later, the woman, now elegantly dressed, descends a staircase. In the living room, her boyfriend, her friend, and a young boy are sitting on a couch. Surrounded by shopping bags, the friend looks up, a bright, welcoming smile on her face. The woman gestures toward the bags, her expression unreadable. The friend speaks, her smile unwavering. The woman's words are calm but pointed. The boyfriend suddenly glares at her, his face contorting in anger as he speaks sharply. The woman sits down, completely unfazed. She looks at her friend with a cold, knowing stare. The friend's smile finally falters. She looks down. The woman's gaze is unyielding. The friend looks back up, her face pleading, but the woman remains unmoved. A silent, tense standoff between the three of them. The young boy runs into the backyard, excitedly waving a test paper. He rushes to the woman, a huge smile on his face. She takes the paper and beams with pride, but her expression softens as she speaks to him gently. The boy's smile fades slightly, replaced by a look of disappointment. Suddenly, the friend leans forward, her face contorted with anger. She confronts the woman, grabbing the papers and gesturing wildly. The boyfriend joins in, his expression frustrated as he urges the woman to agree. The woman remains calm, looking directly at her friend with a challenging stare. The friend freezes, her anger turning to shock. The boyfriend becomes more agitated, pointing and raising his voice, but the woman turns her cold gaze on him, her words silencing him instantly. He glares back, furious. The friend grabs his arm, stopping him. She turns back to the woman, her face a mask of desperate determination. She makes a bold promise. The woman's lips curl into a small, knowing smile. She agrees. The friend looks relieved and triumphant. The boyfriend stares at her, completely stunned. The friend pulls out her phone, typing furiously, a determined look in her eyes. Across the table, the woman watches her, a slow, triumphant smirk spreading across her face. Her trap is set. 3 years later, a teenage boy walks down a hallway. He enters the living room, where the friend is sitting at a table. She greets him warmly, but he barely glances at her, offering a cold, dismissive reply before walking away. Her smile vanishes. Just then, the woman enters, carrying a plate of food. The friend immediately turns to her, her face filled with concern. The woman simply smiles, her eyes twinkling with amusement as she speaks. Suddenly, a news report on a laptop catches their attention. The friend's face pales as she listens, her hand flying to her mouth in shock. The woman watches her friend's reaction, a subtle, triumphant smile playing on her lips. She then slams the laptop shut, her expression hardening into righteous anger. The friend looks at her, her eyes wide with fear and uncertainty. The woman's words are sharp and cutting, leaving the friend speechless. Later, in a bedroom, the boyfriend is buttoning his shirt while the friend sits on the bed, looking at him with a mix of desire and insecurity. He scoffs at her question, his words dripping with disgust. She smiles, leaning in to take his hand, her eyes sparkling with a new idea. He looks at her, completely taken aback by her suggestion. She presses on, her voice growing more excited and persuasive. He looks conflicted, but she continues to plead her case, a sly, manipulative smile on her face. Her plan is in motion. The boyfriend stares at the friend, his face a mixture of frustration and confusion. She pleads with him, her voice filled with a desperate urgency. He argues back, his words sharp and dismissive. But she refuses to back down, her eyes welling with tears as she explains her fears. Her words seem to strike a chord, and he falls silent. She presses her advantage, her voice softening as she tries to persuade him. He finally relents, and she beams with relief. Later, the friend is setting the table for dinner. The woman descends the stairs, looking elegant and composed. The friend greets her with a bright smile, but the woman's expression is cold and questioning. The boy speaks up, explaining the situation. The woman's eyes narrow as she listens, her gaze fixed on her friend. The friend's smile wavers slightly under her scrutiny, but she quickly regains her composure. The woman's next words are like a slap in the face, dripping with sarcasm and contempt. The friend's face falls, and the boyfriend jumps to her defense, his voice filled with anger. The woman remains unfazed, turning her back on them and walking away. He lunges after her, but the friend holds him back, her eyes pleading. As the woman walks away, she takes a call, a slow, triumphant smile spreading across her face. Her plan is working perfectly, her expression a mixture of satisfaction and anticipation. 3 years later, the boy, now a young man, the boyfriend sits on the couch, reading a newspaper. He greets the boy warmly, Just then, the friend emerges from the kitchen, wearing an apron. The boy simply nods at her before announcing he's going to study, leaving her looking disappointed. She removes her apron and sits next to the boyfriend on the couch, complaining about her financial struggles. He reassures her, taking her hand and smiling. Suddenly, his phone buzzes. He reads a message from the woman, a devious smile spreading across his face as he looks at the friend. He pulls her close, whispering in her ear. She smiles seductively, pulling him closer by his tie. In her office, the woman sits at her desk, watching a live feed from a hidden camera in her living room. A slow, triumphant smile plays on her lips as she sees them together. The next morning, an alarm clock rings. The boyfriend and the friend are asleep in bed. He wakes up and kisses her, but their intimate moment is interrupted by a ringing phone. He sees the woman's name on the screen, and his face pales. He answers, and she tells him she's home. He freezes in terror, scrambling to get out of bed, as she says she's right outside the bedroom door. He looks up in panic as the doorknob begins to turn. The door swings open, revealing the woman standing there, her eyes blazing with cold fury. The woman stands in the doorway, her eyes blazing with fury. The friend, clad only in a silk robe, stammers out an excuse, but the woman cuts her off, her voice dripping with venom. Suddenly, a figure appears at the window. It's the boyfriend, desperately clinging to the ledge. He had scrambled out the window just moments before, trying to escape. Now, his face contorted in a grimace of pain and fear. A maid in the yard below spots him and screams in terror. The friend rushes to the window, her face a mask of horror as she watches him lose his grip. He plummets to the ground. The friend screams in horror from the window, but the woman inside remains perfectly calm. The friend runs out of the house, her face a mask of terror and disbelief. She cradles the boyfriend in her arms, his legs clearly broken. He cries out in pain as the staff looks on in shock. The woman walks calmly out of the house and kneels beside them, her face a picture of concern. The boyfriend, seeing her, begs her to call an ambulance. The friend fumbles with her phone, her hands trembling. The woman points out that an ambulance will take too long and offers to drive him herself, but the friend reminds them of the boy's exam. The woman insists that the boyfriend's health is more important, his voice filled with a desperate conviction. He clutches the woman's hand, his eyes pleading. The maid tearfully praises his selflessness. The friend looks at the woman, begging her to reason with him, but the boyfriend cuts her off, his voice rising in a feverish pitch. The woman finally relents, agreeing to take the boy to his exam, but as she turns away, her sorrowful expression melts into a triumphant smirk. In the hospital room, the friend peels an apple for the injured boyfriend. He blames the woman for his injuries, but she reassures him. Just then, the woman walks in, her expression unreadable. The friend immediately asks for an update, and the woman delivers the devastating news. The boyfriend's leg is permanently damaged. He will be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. They both stare at her in stunned silence. The friend breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably, but the woman cuts her off, her voice sharp and accusatory. She then turns to the boyfriend, her eyes narrowed with suspicion. He quickly changes the subject, asking about the boy's exam results. The friend's face lights up with hope, reminding the woman of her promise. The woman agrees, a small, knowing smile playing on her lips. Just then, her phone rings. It's the boy. He has been accepted to a top university. The friend and boyfriend are overjoyed, their faces beaming with pride. The friend immediately asks the woman to fulfill her promise, and the woman agrees, a triumphant glint in her eyes. Their plan is finally coming to fruition. Or so they think. The boy enters the hospital room, looking dapper in a white outfit. The friend immediately congratulates him, her face beaming with pride. He thanks her politely, then turns to the woman, a warm smile on his face. She announces that she will be giving him control of the company. The friend and boyfriend can barely contain their excitement. The woman then tells the boy she will hold a press conference the next day to make it official. She leaves, and the friend immediately turns to the boy, her eyes filled with adoration. The boyfriend then takes the boy's hand, his voice filled with a manipulative sincerity. He reminds the boy of all the friend has done for him, trying to turn him against the woman. The friend joins in, her eyes welling with tears as she plays the victim. The boy looks at her, his expression unreadable, then smiles gently, reassuring her that he considers her family. She beams with relief, her plan seemingly successful. At the press conference, the woman walks in with the boy, a picture of elegance and grace. The boyfriend and friend sit in the front row, their faces filled with anticipation. The woman takes the stage and begins her speech. She recounts the tragic story of losing her ability to have children and how she adopted the boy. The boyfriend listens, a smug smile on his face. The friend's eyes are filled with a greedy excitement. The woman announces that she is giving the boy control of the company and her entire personal fortune. The boyfriend and friend can barely contain their joy. They start clapping enthusiastically. But then, the reporters start asking questions. They question the wisdom of giving everything to an adopted son. The boyfriend and friend's smiles falter, their faces filled with a sudden unease. Just then, a woman brings a folder to the stage and hands it to the woman and the boy. They both sign the documents. The boyfriend and friend's faces light up with triumph. Their plan has finally succeeded. They start celebrating, their voices filled with a greedy excitement. But their celebration is cut short. The boyfriend suddenly points at the stage, his voice booming with a triumphant declaration. The friend beams with pride as she wheels him to the front of the stage. He begins his speech, revealing that he is not actually commitment phobic and that he has a wife. The woman's face pales, her eyes widening in shock. He then drops the bombshell. His real wife is the friend. The woman stares at them in disbelief, her world crumbling around her. The reporters erupt in a frenzy of questions and flashing cameras. The boy looks at them, completely stunned. The boyfriend then reveals the final, devastating truth. The boy is their biological son. The friend rushes to the boy's side, her face a mask of tearful sincerity as she tells him her side of the story. She paints herself as a long-suffering mother, forced to watch another woman raise her child. The woman watches them, her face a mask of heartbreak and betrayal. The boyfriend then twists the knife, thanking the woman for her infertility, which allowed them to use her to raise their son. The woman collapses, her face buried in her hands as she sobs uncontrollably. Her revenge has turned into a nightmare. The woman sobs uncontrollably, her face a mask of utter despair.